Do you constantly feel drained, overwhelmed, or taken advantage of? If you said yes to any of those, you might have weak boundaries. And if you're constantly feeling that way and you're ready to put boundaries in place, let's fix it. Hi, my name is Mercedes, and welcome back to Unapologetically Mercy. Here on this channel, we talk all things astrology, self-love, personal development, entrepreneurship, and sometimes a little bit of everything else in between. Today in this video, we're going to talk about 5 signs that you might lack boundaries and how to fix it. Let's go ahead and dive right into it. We're first going to dive into 5 common signs of weak boundaries. We're then going to talk about how lacking boundaries can impact your mental health and relationships. And then we're going to close this video out by discussing a few tips on how you can start setting healthy boundaries. So let's go ahead and dive right into the tea. Okay, let's go ahead and get right into it. The first common sign of not having boundaries, lacking boundaries, or having weak boundaries is the difficulty of being able to say no. So this could look like you are struggling to decline invitations, you're overextending yourself, you're saying yes to every request or invitation that someone throws your way, especially even when you really don't want to. You're doing it more so for the other person and really disregarding yourself, your needs, and your well-being and what you really want to do. Another common sign of having weak boundaries is being taken advantage of. And this typically happens for someone who is very kind, who is very nice, that doesn't mind helping other people out. And narcissists prey on that type of individual, empathic, nice, kind individual. They prey on you because they know that you are kind. They know that you will do anything that you can to help them achieve whatever goal or help them get out of whatever problem in whatever way that you can at a demise for yourself and your well-being. One-sided. I digress. Another common sign is having a loss of identity. You've lost sight of your own values, your own interests, your own wants, your own needs, your desires, because you have been prioritizing everyone else's needs, everyone else's wants, and pushing yours to the side. Quick side note, if you do tend to prioritize others' needs over your own, you might also be a people pleaser. And I will leave the links up here and in the description down below. I created a mini playlist on people pleasing, the different signs, how it impacts you in some different ways to overcome people pleasing. So if you're resonating so far with any of these signs, you might also be a people pleaser, because people pleasers tend to lack having boundaries. So if you want some more information on that, again, I will leave the information up here. Moving on. Another common sign is ignoring your needs. Kind of piggybacking off of the last point in regards to having a loss of identity, because you're prioritizing other people's needs and their wants and their desires. You're not tending to your own well-being, whether it's mental, social, physical, emotional, spiritual, whatever of your well-being. You are neglecting that. You have put it on the back burner. You're like, I'll get to it later. By the time you try to get to it, you're burnt out. You don't have no energy because you've been putting all your energy, your time, your focus, and effort towards prioritizing others and helping them whatever way, form, or fashion. And the last common sign that you might have weak boundaries that we're going to talk about today is you tolerate disrespect, in the sense of you allow others to mistreat you or disrespect you without standing up for yourself. You don't know how to, you might lack the confidence to speak your voice, to speak your truth, and you might want to fit in. You might want others to like you or to see you in a certain way, or to value you in a certain way, that you are okay with people talking behind your back knowingly, or if they're talking in your face, or you hear them talking about you and you don't address it, you just let it be. That's, in a sense, you tolerating the disrespect. And you don't deserve that, baby, okay? If they don't see you, they don't love you, they don't value you, cut them off. So now that we've talked about a few common signs of what it's like to have weak or you might not have any boundaries in place. So let's now talk about how not having boundaries or having weak boundaries or really not standing 10 toes down on these boundaries has an impact on our mental well-being and our relationships. So the first way that not having boundaries affects your mental well-being is you're constantly feeling drained, you're constantly feeling overwhelmed, you're constantly feeling on edge. And this is because you have taken on more than you can handle. You are literally burning yourself out emotionally, mentally, and physically because you are saying yes to every request, every invitation, and putting yourself and your needs on the back burner. That's a recipe for burnout. When you are burnt out, you lack the energy, you lack the drive to do anything that you're interested in, that you're passionate about, that brings you joy. All you want to do is, rest after you have accomplished all of these different tasks that you have, subscribed to, which then could further lead to, beyond burnout, will be exhaustion, and then also resentment in the fact of, like, you might see other people out here living their dreams, living their best lives, and you're jealous of, them being able to do that because you feel like you have all of these different things on your plate. Or you might even resent the people that are bringing these different invitations or requests your way because you're wondering, why are you asking me? Why did you pick me? Like, I'm appreciative that you picked me because you value me, you see my worth, all this in the bag of chips. But like, at the same point, I'm beyond capacity, and whether you've expressed it or not, why are you putting this more on why are you adding this to my plate? Like, bro, I'm already struggling, I'm already behind, I'm already unfulfilled, I'm already just down. Like, stop. Which ultimately just makes it harder for you to show for yourself and others in a healthy way, because you're not telling them no. You're not telling them, hey, I'm at capacity for today, this week, this month, whatever it is that you need to do to be able to, still be able to help others, but at the same time still prioritize your needs. You can do both, but when you're doing one more than the other, that's when the imbalance comes in place, and that's when the different issues arise, or they present themselves throughout in your lives throughout different ways. The second way that not having boundaries impacts your mental well-being is you struggle with resentment and frustration. Kind of piggybacking off of the last point in regards to, you feel like people don't care about your well-being or what you want or what you need, for them to keep adding all these different, tasks, invitations, roles your way. And sometimes people consciously do this, and sometimes people unconsciously do this, and they don't know that, they're having this impact or, effect on you. But one, if you're not speaking up and letting them know, like, how it's making you feel, one, how will they know? But two, there has been a common theme where you're always saying yes, or you don't mind taking it on, regardless of, like, if you complain, if, like, you feel tired or overwhelmed or whatever, because they know as an employer or as a best friend that you're going to always say yes, and you're going to always choose them over whatever it is, over whatever else. So that resentment has built up because you have constantly decided not to speak up for yourself and tell them, like, hey, like, I can't help out this week. I have to go pick up my son from school. Whatever it might, whatever your no is, you let them know, instead of, like, biting your tongue and saying yes, but knowing back in your head you're cussing them out, like, why? No, I didn't sign up for this, I didn't ask for that, where's my additional duties pay? But you're not saying nothing. How they gonna know what type of support you need or what you got going on, or that you really can't, take this on if you don't say nothing. And so you get more frustrated because you're not telling others your needs. You're not telling others what you want. And so it just repeats that cycle of, your needs being neglected while others are prioritized, and what they need and what they want to get done is getting done. And for you, it's like you're left out in the cold. And it don't need to be that way. It don't gotta be that way. The third way that not having boundaries impacts your well-being is that you lose your sense of self. If you're constantly prioritizing others' needs, others' opinions, other expectations, you can easily lose sight of who you really are. Your opinions become their opinions. Your mindset and expectations becomes their mindsets and their expectations. And you lose the line, or everything is so blurred that you lose the line between, do I really agree with this expectation, this opinion, or do I not? And when you're so ingrained or when you're so focused on helping others or prioritizing others, you're not allowing yourself the solitude, the time away from others to really ask yourself and to really be able to tune in with what do you believe, what do you feel, what do you want, what do you desire, regardless if it is the same as these others that you are giving to, that you're giving to, or if they are different, and how those things might play a part, whether it's in the environment or the friendship or the relationship that you do have. This can over time just ultimately end up leading to self-doubt, people pleasing, and lack of confidence in your own choices, because you're trying to fit in. You want to be liked, you want to be seen. Your value is based off of how other people view you, and not having your own self-worth built up within yourself. And so that could ultimately lead to more mental issues. It can lead to more depression. It can lead to a higher sense of anxiety, insomnia, and other mental health issues if this is ignored, if it's not acknowledged, or if you just continue to negate or neglect yourself, or neglect tending to yourself and your well-being. The fourth way that this impacts your mental well-being in relationships is that you tend to attract one-sided or toxic relationships. Again, like I mentioned before, you're probably a very nice person, you're a very kind person, you mean well, you're probably a very truthful and honest person, which is very rare and lacking in this day and age, which is unfortunate, but it's very true. And so narcissists, manipulators, controllers, all those type of different people, they prey on kind, genuine people, especially those who lack confidence and don't have boundaries, and that don't have boundaries, because they know that they can take advantage of you. They know they can literally suck your soul dry. They know that they can use you, abuse you in whatever form or fashion, and you're going to take it because they're going to make you feel some type of value. They're going to make you feel some type of worth, when the reality is they don't care nothing about you. They're just harvesting your energy, your time, your well-being, because they see potential in you, but they know you don't. And so they're going to keep it that way so they can continue to reap off of you. And if you ever did start putting boundaries in place, they're going to challenge that, or they're not going to like you for real, honestly and truly, when you stand 10 toes on your boundaries. Telling you from experience, okay? Telling you from experience. Because without clear boundaries, you may find yourself in relationships where you're always giving but not receiving. And if you're receiving, you're barely even getting the bare minimum. Like, the bare minimum is like hard to do. And I don't understand how that's possible. I mean, I understand how it's possible, but like, why? Come on, we ain't gotta do that. And this ultimately can just lead to toxic dynamics, codependency, and emotional exhaustion, because again, you're giving all of yourself to this person. You're trying to show this person that I am wifey material, I am lovable, I am valuable. You know, I will make a great mother, I'll make a great wife, I will make a great partner. Whatever the case might be, I'm a great listener, I'm a great supporter, X, Y, and Z. But they, in their mind, and their intention, whether they know it or don't know it, that they're doing it, you know, they know that there's something that they can get out of you as long as you don't have boundaries in place. They're going, like I said earlier, they're going to try to keep it that way so they can keep feeding off of you to boost up their own ego. And again, suck your soul dry till there's nothing else left and move on to the next one. Leave you high and dry, leave you with trust issues, leave you feeling more unlovable or undesirable or lacking even more confidence than you did when you first met them. You know what I'm saying? Which again will lower your standards even more, and you will just continuously repeat the cycle of attracting or letting in toxic individuals, one-sided connections who generally don't care about you. And then ask yourself, why me, God? What did I do to deserve this? I'm a nice person, I'm a caring person, I do X, Y, and Z, but why do I keep encountering this type of people in my life? Like, what is up? Like, why? Make it stop. And the last way that lacking boundaries has impact on your well-being is your anxiety and stress level increase. When you say yes to things, when you know you want to say no, when you're avoiding confrontation, over explaining yourself, it can definitely lead to chronic stress and anxiety. And this is because your nervous system is on edge. It's constantly on overload, anticipating how others will react instead of feeling safe and secure in your own choices. You're constantly wondering or on edge of knowing, like, will they like what I have to say? Do we resonate? Do we agree? Do they care? Do they not care? And if they don't care, it's like, oh my God, something is wrong with me. Something is wrong with my opinion. Something is wrong with my thought. I'm not seeing this straight. Something is wrong with me. I suck. And then you know, constantly go down that cycle of, like, you know, talking down to yourself, and that is again negatively impacts your self-love and your confidence within yourself. And now that we have identified and talked about a few common signs of not having boundaries or having weak boundaries, and we've gone over 5 different ways that not having boundaries in place or lacking boundaries has the impact on your mental well-being and your relationships, let's now talk about 5 different tips that you can start to add into your life today to set healthier boundaries so that you can start prioritizing your well-being and start saying and to start to see an improvement in your overall life. So my first tip is self-reflection. Love her. Genuinely take the time out to understand your needs, your values, your limits, your wants, your desires. Because once you become aware of these different things, you know where to put boundaries in place. Also take the time to reflect on past experiences where your boundaries were crossed, whether you had boundaries in place or again you had or you didn't appreciate how that person reacted or what they did, what they said, whatever the case might be, and also reflect on how it made you feel. Did it make you feel, did it, you know, positively impact you, or did it have a negative impact on you? Because we are really trying to acknowledge and become aware of the different things that make us feel bad, that might be placed upon us by others. Because that's, again, like I said, that is where we'll be putting the boundaries in place. The second tip is to identify and define your boundaries. So after you've done your reflection, after you've gone back through some, you know, after you've gone back and looked through some past experiences and it triggered you and it brought up a lot of different feelings and emotions to the surface, because it will, for good purposes, because that's a part of healing. You're now going to determine which areas of your life require boundary. For example, personal space. After 7 p.m., I ain't trying to be around nobody, or for an hour after I get off of work, I need time to myself. I need time to be my own energy. I need time to decompress from my day. Or whether it's time, I'm only going to be on social media for 3 hours today instead of aimlessly scrolling until it's 3 o'clock in the morning and it's like, oh my God, let me go to sleep. I gotta be able to get it back. I gotta be able to get up and go to work tomorrow. You want to be able to clearly articulate your boundaries. You want to be specific about what behaviors you're accepting and that you're not going to be able to accept. Because again, this will let you know the people who genuinely care about you, the people who've been playing with you, playing your face, playing you like the fool, and you're going to know what people are going to stay in your life and what people are going to exit your life respectfully, or that you're just going to have less, or you're going to give less access to. The third step is to set consequences. Communicate the consequences of others crossing your boundary. When you made it very clear, like, I'm not doing this, I said no, I'm not interested. Let others know what will happen if they fail to respect your limits. Because baby, if they don't respect your limits, they don't respect your boundaries, they basically saying that they don't respect you, they don't value you, that you know, that they don't really value like that they don't really value you like that, for that they don't really care about you, for that they've been using that love word, you know, just willy-nilly, when they know it's not really love, it is like, or it's manipulation. The fourth step is to practice self-care and to enforce your boundaries. This is where you'll need to prioritize your self-care, which means you are tending to your social, your mental, your emotional, your intellectual, your physical, your spiritual, and all the other well-beings. You're tending to all that. You have some type of self-care practice for all these different aspects of yourself, or you're developing that plan. And if that is something that you are needing help with, or some guidance on how to start developing self-care, or develop a self-care routine for yourself, or you know, you don't even know where to start, in the description down below I will leave a link to my workbook that I've created called Nurture Your Confidence, which will be a quick reflection on the different areas of your well-being, and to better figure out, like, you know, what has been missing and what you would like to start adding to your life, as well as a checklist to keep you accountable in regards to embarking on this new self-care, self-love journey. So back to practicing self-care. Take the time to recharge and nurture yourself, because baby, if you do not take the time to recharge and nurture yourself, you will not be able to show up and show out the way that you need to for the world, especially for those that you genuinely care for and that genuinely care about you, whether it's your job, you know, your family, your friends, whoever the case might be. If you don't take the time for yourself, if you don't take the time for yourself, you want to even be able to take the risk on yourself and embark on a business venture, or start that YouTube channel, whatever the case might be, that might spark your creativity, or these different things that might bring you joy, because you're burnt out, you're exhausted, you don't have the time to be creative, to cultivate these different ideas until you take the time to do that. I'm telling you, take the time to nurture yourself, prioritize your well-being, prioritize your self-care routine, and start to see how things start to change in your life. I promise you. And since, you know, setting boundaries or enforcing boundaries might be a challenge, it might not come as easy, it's definitely something that we're going to have to work towards, you know, improving. You need to work to consistently enforce your boundaries by following through with those consequences when necessary. Be firm and consistent in upholding your limits, so you let people know, oh, she for real, oh, she serious, Shawty changed, Shawty different, she not with that no more, she not about being played no more. I promise you. I promise you, when you start putting your boundaries in place, and when people, they hear you, but they don't really believe you, boy, your actions speak louder than words. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. And the last tip that I have is to seek community, seek support. Surround yourself with individuals who are supportive and keyword, put respect on my name, respect your boundaries. And this will also be a way where you can offer encouragement to others who are going through the same thing that you are, that, you know, this is my experience, this is what I've been doing to help me improve my boundaries, or to improve this area of my well-being, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, bounce some ideas off of them, hear what they have to say. You might be able to try some of the things that they did, or like, you know, just the bond and to connect with a safe space where you can be vulnerable, you can be intimate with your emotions, with your feelings, which is a necessary part of your healing journey. Or if you also need the support, you can always reach out to myself, or someone, or a therapist, or someone, or some type of mental health advocate, or someone else who you know has put boundaries in place in their life, and they embody a certain type of success that you are looking for. That's all that I have to say in regards to, you know, what are the 5 signs that you lack boundaries, and 5 tips that can help you fix it. So with that being said, if you found any of this valuable, please like or comment this video, anything that you found useful, or even share in the comments down below your experience with boundaries and what are some things that you have done that has been working for you. If you're looking for a more in-depth way to better set healthier boundaries, in the links down below, I'm also going to leave a link to the training that I'm having on how to set healthier boundaries. So whether you're watching this before the training or after the training, click on the link so that you can get access to that information. So until next time, you guys, stay blessed with peace, one love, and high vibrations.